Hello and welcome to the Introduction to Reiki Masterclass. My name is Natasha and I am a Reiki master teacher and practitioner, and I've been practicing Reiki myself for a little over 8 years now. And I am really excited to share Reiki with as many people as possible. So all of you watching this webinar, and then anybody that decides to go on and become a practitioner, or whatever you decide to do with your own Reiki class, or your own Reiki experience. So I am going to walk us through today a few different things. I'm going to walk us through a just introduction to Reiki. I'll talk a little bit about what is Reiki. I'll talk a little bit about how does it work, and I'll talk about how Reiki can help you specifically. And then I'll share a little bit of my personal Reiki story. And then I'll dive into the details on learning Reiki if that's something you want to do. So I'll talk about the 3 different levels of Reiki, what you learn in each level, and what kind of components or things that you'll learn to practice and then share with others if you decide to do that. If you decide to dive into your own Reiki practice. And then I will share with you the Reiki class that I have coming up. And then I'll open it up for question and answers. And then I'm going to dive into a self-healing practice at the end. I want to do that at the end so that you can just go in your own post Reiki glow and not have to think about, do I want to take this class or pricing or anything like that after the self-treatment, guided self-treatment. So let's dive in. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what is Reiki. So Reiki is the universal life force energy that's present everywhere at the same time. So the word is split up into 2 different, Reiki is like 2 different words, excuse me. And so the Rei is the universal consciousness, our connection to our higher self or spirit or source. It is that higher consciousness that we all connect into, and it can be applied to anybody's like specific belief system. So if you work with God, or if you work with spirit or source, or just your higher self or a higher power, you don't really know what that is. That is just what the Rei represents of Reiki. It's that consciousness that we can connect into. And then the key is the life force energy that gives life to all things. And so many different cultures and practices recognize the importance of ki, or chi is pronounced in different practices, and how it impacts our lives and well-being. So the universal life force energy said it gives life to all beings. And so this universal life force energy, when it is full and we're full of light and full of this life force energy, we have more physical energy, and we'll have less, on a physical level, less blockages or pain or illness on a physical level. And then on an emotional level, it's the higher vibrating emotions like love, kindness, compassion. And then on a spiritual level, we're able to connect easily with our higher power. And then the opposite of that when our chi is low, we might have disease in the body. We might have physical pain that we're experiencing in the body. We may have emotional fluctuations where we're experiencing sadness or grief or guilt or shame or anger on a regular basis, and we don't quite know how to process them and they get stuck in the body. We could be experiencing difficulty connecting with our higher power. And so low chi, those are all symptoms of low chi. So Reiki, how Reiki works is Reiki brings in that life force energy that we're talking about. When we learn Reiki, or as a practitioner is practicing Reiki, we tap into and channel this life force energy, which is done through an attunement. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the different levels of Reiki. But we're able, as practitioners, to connect into this life force energy and call it in and bring it into the body. One thing that Reiki does is it activates the body's relaxation response. And it's in this state that the body can heal itself naturally. So many of us are stuck in the stress response, it's the opposite of the relaxation response. And the stress response starts to manifest illness and disease, pain in the body, discomfort in the body. And when we're in that stress response, the body can't go through its natural healing process because it's constantly responding with that stress response. So the stress response is, just imagine if back in the old days we were being attacked by a lion or a tiger and the body goes into flight or fight. So we've, because of the things that go on in our world, end up in this stress response where we're constantly in this fight or flight response, and our body is constantly fighting to survive. And when it's constantly fighting to survive, it can't go into its natural healing capabilities. So Reiki helps bring the body into that relaxation response so the body can then heal itself, because our bodies have this amazing, immense power to do their own healing, to adjust its own energy and work with its own energy, but it has to be able to get into that relaxation response in order for it to get into its optimal healing state. So Reiki helps activate that. Reiki also works on all levels. It works on the physical level. So on the physical level, it can help with pain. It can help with illness and disease in the body, any stuckness in the body. So the energy patterns, which we're looking at with Reiki when we're doing a Reiki session, is we're looking at where is the stuckness in the body on a physical level. And so we look at, is there stuckness in the shoulder? Is there stuckness in the hip? Where is that physical stuckness? And Reiki goes in and works on that. So we can send Reiki into those specific areas. Another thing that Reiki works is it goes where it needs to go. So if there's physical tension in the body, if there's disease in the body, then the Reiki or the life force energy is going to go into the body wherever in the physical body needs that restorative energy to come in and help the body restore, help the body go into the healing response, and work on that level. It also works on the mental and emotional levels. So, on an emotional level, often we carry a lot of our emotions or our past traumas in our physical body. And so those become trapped. So Reiki can work on an emotional level, just like it's working on a physical level. We go in, we do the Reiki, where is the body feeling pain? And we start healing from that space, and also go in and heal the emotions that are behind the pain and the disease that we're experiencing, or that low chi. And so this mental and emotional healing can help us to reset belief systems. It can help us to release emotions that we've been carrying. it can help us to increase emotional intelligence. One of the things for me personally was when I started my Reiki practice, I was so shut down emotionally that I didn't even know what emotions I was storing or what emotions I was experiencing. I didn't have a full range of emotions that I knew how to express and experience. And Reiki helped me tune into that and help express that even more. It also um, can help bring those emotions to the surface. So if those emotions have been trapped in the body, if we've had them shut down, if we bottled them up, Reiki can help bring those emotions out in a really gentle way so that they can be released and expressed in a healthy and gentle way that's comfortable for the body. Reiki is really gentle, so it doesn't necessarily force us into healing on a intense level unless we're ready for that healing. And if we are ready for that healing, Reiki can do that for us. Reiki meets us where we're at with whatever we need. And then Reiki also works on a spiritual level. So if there's anything that is some kind of disconnect with a spirit guide or a higher power or connecting in with source, Reiki can heal on that. And then it also heals on a spiritual level in that it helps us connect with our psychic senses. It helps us heal across all time and space. And I really relate that on a spiritual level as well. It's like, what has our soul experienced? It helps us go in and heal really on a soul level and help align with our higher self and where our soul is guiding us to go. So, like I said, Reiki always goes where it needs to go in the body. So, if there is something that we're carrying, some kind of disease, pain, emotional thing that we're hanging on to, Reiki is going to penetrate to the source of that issue. And we don't even necessarily have to know what that issue is. Sometimes Reiki will come in and go into that source of the issue and bring it to light so that we can address it however we need to address it. And sometimes it just gently goes in and goes to where it needs to go. Maybe there's a pain in the shoulder, but that pain in the shoulder is really related to something else in the spinal column. So Reiki is going to also go where it needs to go in that spinal column to help heal the shoulder as well. So it's always going to flow where it needs to go. If there's darkness, stuckness in the body, the light that is Reiki, the universal life force energy, wants to come in and fill up that dark space with light. And another thing about Reiki is it's the highest vibration, pure love and light, and it can do no harm. So it's one of my favorite things about Reiki is that it is this pure love and light and that it doesn't do any harm. It's one of the few modalities that I know of that has this underlying basis of it. Reiki is always done with the intention of the highest good of the person receiving it. And it's always going to bring us closer and closer to our soul and closer to what our soul needs because of this aspect of Reiki that it is pure love and light. It can't hurt somebody. It can't take us more into pain. It can help reveal the pain and bring it to the surface so it can be released. But at its core level, Reiki is just pure love and is expressed in that way. On a scientific level, when we're talking about Reiki, we look at this life force energy and we look at quantum physics, which has proven that everything is energy. When you break energy down or matter down into its smallest form, you find that it is energy. And so when I took physics, I thought this was really cool because I was like, I can see how this all relates to science. And some people may see it differently. I love this concept that it flows within all of us. I remember one of the things my physics teacher talked about was how dogs and other animals can sense earthquakes before they happen because of the energy that starts moving in the rocks and in the plates of the planet before that earthquake actually happens. And they were able to study that and show that, because dogs and other animals and babies are more sensitive to this life force energy, because as we grow older, we reduce sensitivity, just naturally from shutting it down or whatever that is. So that's really cool that this energy really does penetrate everything, and everything has this energy, everything has this life force, moving through it, especially anything that's living, even things that aren't living. So maybe like the desk that your computer is at, or even your computer, is energy, and it just doesn't move as fluidly as something that's living moves. And then Reiki has also been proven to reduce stress and promote relaxation. You'll find many, many different stories of people that have experienced Reiki and experienced different healings, experienced different benefits. A lot of people ask the question, can Reiki help me with something specific? Maybe a pain in the body, maybe disease, maybe anxiety. And often the answer is yes, because of that factor that the Reiki goes in the body where it's needed and helps go in from there. But the results for each person is a little different, because it all depends on where your ability to heal, where your readiness to heal is. But with regular practice, the more benefits that I see, and that I know many other people have seen, is when they incorporate Reiki into their regular practice. I personally would love to see every person on the planet practicing at least Reiki 1 for themselves, so they can do their own self-healing and really empower themselves in their own healing practice, and incorporating this in with their own self-care and their own lifestyle choices and what they do. So that's when you see the most benefits. That's when you see the most changes. Let's talk a little bit about how Reiki can help you. There's a number of different benefits to be gained, and those benefits will happen without much effort other than doing Reiki self-treatment on a daily basis. So Reiki can help accelerate the healing of, or the natural healing of wounds. So it brings the body into that relaxation response where the body can heal itself. It can help boost the immune system and prevent the development of disease in the body. So it's a really good tool to incorporate for your own immune system and making sure that you stay strong and healthy and don't develop disease in the body. So it can be used as a preventative. It can help center your thoughts when you're confused. So if you get into the jumbled brain that just keeps going and going and going, Reiki can help center you and bring you back into that centered place of clarity and just mental clarity. Reiki can help change negative conditioning and behavior. So by negative conditioning, I mean the things that we're conditioned with throughout our growing up. Maybe it's conditioning from family members. Maybe it's conditioning from friends. Maybe it's conditioning from society. It's the things that are influenced on us that tell us to behave or act a certain way or believe a certain thing for whatever reason. And Reiki can help us come in and really recognize that conditioning that's happened within ourselves and question those beliefs, question those behaviors, and choose to change them if we decide to change them. And it can help make those changes and those transitions easier. Reiki increases the vibrational frequency of the body. So, like I said, love, which is Reiki, is the unconditional love, is the highest vibrating frequency. And we have lower frequencies like anger or frustration that can get trapped in the body. So, Reiki helps increase that frequency of the body and then brings more vitality, more health into the body. Reiki can help focus the mind and help us solve problems. It can help bring about deep relaxation. It can help calm you when you're frightened. So if you're feeling anxious, you can use Reiki as a tool to help as a coping mechanism with anxiety and to really calm the body and calm that fear that our bodies experience when we're going through anxious feelings. Reiki can relax you when you're stressed, and it can also energize you when you feel drained. So if you're feeling really tired, really drained, really lethargic, Reiki can do the opposite and really energize you because it's bringing that life force and vitality into the body again. It can gradually help clear up chronic problems that we experience by bringing that body back into that high vibrating light frequency. Reiki relieves pain and so relaxes the body and relieves pain in the body. Reiki can help improve the health. Reiki can help detoxify the body. So as the light energy moves in, the dark energy needs to be released or transformed. And so Reiki starts this detoxification process of the energy and transforming and shifting the energy. And Reiki can dissolve any energy blockages. So we work largely with the chakra system when we're working with Reiki. And that's where we find a lot of these energy blockages. So this chakra system flows in this kind of circular movement throughout the body. And so that's how the energy flows throughout the body as well. And it flows through this circular motion through the chakras. And each of the chakras has its own movement as well. So if there's any stagnation, any closing of the chakras, or maybe the chakras are too open, that energy might be moving too quickly, might be moving too slowly. So Reiki helps to dissolve those energy blockages and get the energy moving back in the normal cycle that the energy should be moving in for our greatest vitality. And Reiki can help to release emotional wounds. So help bring those emotions to the surface so that they can be released. Reiki can be used in a various number of ways. So it can be used, like we talked about, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual healing. So if you find yourself needing healing in any of those areas, Reiki can help and be added into our toolbox of tools that we use for our healing. So we can use it alongside therapy. We can use it alongside massage. We can use it alongside chiropractic work. We can use it alongside Western medicine to heal these areas. And it's really beneficial when we come in with a team for our own healing, the different things that we bring in to bring healing in the body and have those all work together in synchronicity for our optimal healing. And Reiki is one of those things that we can include. Reiki can be used for energy protection, setting boundaries, and making sure that we're not absorbing the energy of others. So, like I said, we work on the chakra system, but we also work with the aura, which is the energy field that surrounds us. And our energy field or our aura that surrounds us is the first interaction that we have with other people. So, when we interact with others, our energies intermix and intertwine. And so energy protection helps guard our energy so that we don't absorb the energy of other people and take that on and experience it as our own. Reiki can be used to clear energies of objects, spaces, other people, yourself. So if you're ever walk into a room and you just get bad vibes, Reiki can be used to help clear that energy in a space and make sure the spaces that are surrounding you are uplifting and positive and are also filled with this light energy. Reiki can be used for manifestation. So you can use it in manifestation, ritual practice to amplify and enhance your manifestation process and your rituals and the things you're practicing or calling in. Reiki can be used to balance or find balance. And Reiki can be used for stress relief and relaxation. It can be used for releasing blockages, long-standing problems, and addictions. So, for example, for me, one of these things was codependency, which is really an addiction. And I used Reiki over a long course, a period of time, to help me release that, which was really about finding self-love within myself so that I wasn't needing that thing, that codependency, that person to fill something within inside myself. And can be used for many other long-standing problems to help gently release it. When we use Reiki, they said it's raising our body's vibration. And as our body's vibration raises, our body and our emotions and our higher selves will push us to make these changes that are more healthy for us and support us in doing that in an easy way. Reiki can be used to help us improve relationships. It can do that by helping us to maybe open our heart chakra, love ourselves more, connect more easily with people. It can also help improve intuition and inspiration. So if you're an intuitive person, or maybe even a psychic person, you can use Reiki to help you improve that and grow those gifts and help unlock those gifts as well. It can help with increasing creativity. It can help boost the healing properties of other things you're already doing. So you can use Reiki alongside, like I said, with like Western medicine, with the medications that you're using, or things that you use maybe topically. Maybe you use something for pain topically. You can use Reiki to boost the healing properties of that. Many, many people sell Reiki infused products as well, and you can use Reiki to do that. Reiki can also be sent to anybody, anywhere, at any time. It heals across all time and space. And you can use Reiki to heal the past, present, and future. So we can go in and do healing for the past, maybe traumas that you went through in the past. If you believe in past lives, you can go in and use Reiki for past lives. You can also go in and do healing now to help improve the future. Maybe you have patterns that you keep repeating and you want to do healing to stop those patterns from repeating. So Reiki can be used for that as well. So I want to talk a little bit before I go into the next section about the courses, about my personal Reiki story. So like I said, I've been practicing Reiki for about 8 years, and I started learning Reiki. It was introduced to me through my massage teacher that I had because I was going to massage school. And my teacher, like I said, started introducing it to me, started introducing these energy concepts. And the way I felt when I started getting introduced to this was it just made sense. It just clicked within me. Like, I get this, this makes sense. And I wanted to know more. I had this craving for, I want to know more. There's like, got to be so much to this. And I just started soaking in all the information. And I decided right away that I was going to take my first Reiki course. So I signed up and I took my first Reiki 1 course. Right after the bat, never receiving a Reiki session before, and immediately started to notice changes within myself. One of the big things for me was I was experiencing severe digestive issues. I've experienced severe digestive issues my whole life. And immediately after taking the Reiki class, I started to notice an improvement in those digestive issues. And then I started to learn through Reiki the emotions that were underlying the digestive problems that I was carrying, that anxiety and fear, and taking on the energy of other people was often a cause of those digestive issues. So as I learned about that and I learned to address the emotions behind it as well, then the digestive problems got even better and improved even more. And I still have digestive problems sometimes, but they're really an indicator now for me of where is my energy at, and am I taking on things, or am I not doing enough self-care for myself? Am I not doing enough Reiki for myself or other things that my body needs? Am I not feeding myself the way that I need to feed myself? Because, of course, like I said, there's all these different factors that go into it. But I've also used Reiki to work with my intuition and work with my intuition in eating. So with digestion, I work with intuitive eating and listening to my intuition, and Reiki really taught me how to do that with, okay, eat these foods. This is what your body needs for you. Reiki brought me down that journey on a other level, not on a physical level, but more emotional. Like I said, it brought in a lot of emotional intelligence for me. It taught me a lot about my emotions. It taught me a lot about what I was experiencing and why I was experiencing it. I had gone through a lot of traumas as a child, things that I forgot and didn't even remember because I had kind of pushed them away. So Reiki slowly over time started to bring those up and bring them into my awareness so that I could do healing work around them. Helped me heal from really toxic relationships that I was in my early 20s, and heal from those and restore those, and really helped me have much better relationships now in my life that are much more supportive and much more um, really much more supportive for me in my life now. So yeah, that's just some of those things on my Reiki journey. And then the other thing that actually probably one of the biggest things for me is my spiritual connection. um Prior to Reiki, I had lost my spiritual connection because I had disconnected from how I was raised spiritually because it didn't resonate with me anymore. And I felt really lost because I had no way then that I knew how to connect with my spirituality. And so Reiki taught me how to connect with my own spirituality in the way that I wanted, in the way that felt good, and allowed me to work with my spirituality in whatever way I wanted. So I was able to work with the spirit guides that I wanted to work with. I was able to work with angels or goddesses or whatever I wanted to work with. I was able to bring that in and do that and make that my own practice instead of following somebody else's guidelines for a practice. Um, so Reiki for me has really gone into every facet of my life, and I really incorporate it in every facet of my life now. It's almost inherent where sometimes I'm like, I forget that I'm using it sometimes. um, and sometimes I have to remind myself, like, oh, make sure you're doing this on a regular basis. Um, so I will then hop in. Let me share my screen again and share about the Reiki classes and what happens in a Reiki class. So there's 3 levels of Reiki. Um, if you decide that you want to learn Reiki, you can do one of these levels, or you can do all 3 of these levels. They build on top of each other. So you start with Reiki level 1 and then work your way to Reiki level 3. A lot of people maybe only start with Reiki level 1, and that focuses on self-practice and focuses on the physical. So if you want to use Reiki for yourself and for your own self-healing, you definitely want to do Reiki level 1. Reiki level 1 empowers you to be your own healer. Instead of having to look outside of yourself for that healing, you can use Reiki level 1. And then, of course, you can go see other people. You can go see other practitioners, other Reiki practitioners. You can tie in your Western medicine. You can tie in your work with therapy, whatever that is. You can tie it in and work with that as well, because we all need support on our healing journey. But Reiki level 1 really empowers you to do your own self-practice and do your own healing. Reiki level 2 is the practitioner level. So if you want to share Reiki with other people, you'll definitely want to go through and do Reiki's level 1 and 2. Reiki level 2 focuses on the mental and emotional aspects. So it brings in the mental healing, it brings in the emotional healing, and helps us heal on those levels. I also teaches us to heal across all time and space. So in Reiki level 2, we go over the different Reiki symbols. We go over distance healing and how to do distance healing. I used to teach Reiki's level 1 and 2 separately up until the pandemic hit, when my guides told me that I needed to teach them together from this point forward, because it became all of a sudden level 2 became a lot more important for people to bridge the gap of working with Reiki across all space and time. Because all of a sudden we're much more distant on a physical level. We need to be able to come in on the other levels as well, and heal on those other levels as well, and connect on those other levels as well. And also, there's this calling for more practitioners to practice and share their medicine, if they feel called. So that point, it became really clear to start teaching level 1 and 2 together. Level 3 is the master teacher level and beyond, and it focuses on the spiritual aspect. And so many people who learn Reiki don't move on to Reiki level 3, because of not wanting to teach Reiki level 3, and that's fine. And then if you do want to teach it, awesome. There's more people that you can share it with. You can also do Reiki level 3 and learn it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to become a teacher. But if you feel that calling to share through that, through teaching it and sharing it, you want to go through all the way to Reiki level 3. I do recommend taking processing time, especially between level 2 and level 3, to really master being a practitioner, to really master working with clients, learning what it's like to work with clients, what it's like to work with different people. And as you do that, your Reiki practice will grow. The more we practice Reiki, the more it grows and the more it develops. When I say level 3 master teacher and beyond, what really makes a Reiki master to me is somebody who works with their guides in their Reiki practice and are learning from their guides consistently. So my guides are always leading me to something new. They're always leading me to that next level. And what I see in other Reiki practitioners or masters, as well as that mastership, is when they're really working and learning with their guides. It's really focused on that spiritual level and bringing that spiritual aspect in. Now, just because each of these levels focuses on the physical or the mental and emotional or the spiritual doesn't mean that you have to have all 3 levels in order for Reiki to work on all of the different physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Reiki, even at level 1, is going to work on those levels, but learning each of those levels really helps you hone expertise in each of those levels and really understand each of those levels. So level 1 is really about understanding the physical body and how energy works in the physical body. Level 2 is really understanding the mental and emotional bodies and how the emotions and our thoughts and our beliefs work and on an energetic level, and then how that affects the physical body. And then we go into the spiritual level and learn how that affects everything else. So it's like we just build into the layers and go deeper and deeper into our healing and deeper into the healing of others. So for Reiki level 1, we dive even deeper into how Reiki can help you. We work specifically, because the classes are relatively small, we work specifically with what are your specific things that you're dealing with, what are the specific things that you want to heal, and how can you work with Reiki for your own healing. We work with the history of Reiki, so we go over that. We talk about that a little bit. Where did it come from? How long has it been around? We talk about what is Reiki and how Reiki works. So we dive even deeper into that. And we go over the 5 Reiki principles. So the 5 Reiki principles are kind of like the guidelines for Reiki, and they're the values of Reiki. It's really, what do we hold sacred in our Reiki practice? And then we go over how to do a Reiki self-treatment. And then you practice that Reiki self-treatment on a regular basis. We also go over the energetic systems. We go over the 7 chakras and the aura, and we start working with that in our Reiki practice. And I also add this in as a bonus. I go over the psychic senses and how to use them in your Reiki practice to enhance your Reiki practice. I really think it's integral and essential to a Reiki practice, but it's not something that's necessarily included in every Reiki course you'll take. And then we also go over treating others with Reiki and how do you do treatments on other people. With Reiki level 1, as far as treating others with Reiki, it's how to do treatments in person. So you could be practicing on your animals, you could be practicing on the people that you live with. If you're not with anybody right now, you can save that information and use it later. But the Reiki level 1 is really about working on the physical level and doing that physical work on the physical body. Reiki level 2, we dive, again, even deeper. We dig the layers. So we go into distance Reiki and how distance Reiki works specifically. How can Reiki work over all space, time, anywhere, on any person at any time? And you really open up new possibilities with Reiki. So you go much beyond the physical level through the use of the Reiki symbols. And we go over how to use the Reiki symbols. And that really opens up a lot of possibilities in what you can do with Reiki. So it's another great thing about Reiki level 2 is now you're able to incorporate Reiki into all these different facets. You're able to use it on many different things with ease. You heal across all space and time. And in Reiki level 2, I add in connecting with your spirit guides and working with your spirit guides. And we dive deep into that. There's a lot of hands-on practice within my Reiki classes as well that we practice together as a group. And then we go through emotional and mental healing using the Reiki symbols. And how do you dive into that? How do you dive into the emotions that we store in the body and working with belief systems and resetting those? As a bonus in Reiki level 2, I also include starting your Reiki business, a class on starting your Reiki business, and more. The class is flexible to the people in the class. So as the class goes on, whatever people need in the class, I'll add in extra classes or extra education through lives or videos that I do on different concepts that people want to incorporate into their Reiki practice. Reiki level 3 is really, you dive into a couple more Reiki symbols and you dive into that spiritual aspect and how to teach Reiki if you want to teach Reiki, and how to pass attunements. Another thing that occurs in each of the levels of Reiki is you receive an attunement in each of the levels, and each of those attunements turns the dial and tunes you in to Reiki energy and increases your ability to receive Reiki energy and tap in with that. So that's also part of it. In Reiki level 3, you learn how to pass those attunements to other people. So that can be helpful as well if you don't want to teach it, but maybe you have people that you want to give the gift of an attunement to Reiki so that they can use it for themselves. You can also do that as well with Reiki level 3. It's something else you can do. So we talk a little bit about the Reiki 1 and 2 course I have coming up. Today marks the days of opening for signing up for the Reiki level 1 and 2 course. It's an online 8-week course, and we meet once a week for 2 hours. The actual class will start in the second week of January, and we decide together as a group when the best time for everybody is to show up for these live classes. Other things that you also get as part of the class is you get to be a part of a Reiki group that includes all of my past Reiki 1 and 2 students. And I provide support through that group anytime you have questions. I also do extra education in that group in the form of Facebook Lives, guided meditations, things like that to help you continue in your Reiki practice. All of the materials are available to you for life. Everything is recorded so that after the class you can go back and refer to them as long as you want. And you also, like I said, are a part of that Facebook group. So as future classes happen, you are able to come back and attend classes again if you want to refresh and relearn the concepts, or just want people to practice with and associate with other practitioners. So this class coming up, like I said, the doors are now open. I'm running a early bird special for the Black Friday through technically Cyber Monday, although the special will end December 1st, so it'll run all the way through Tuesday. The regular class price is now at $888. So this early bird special, if you pay in full, is $622. And then there are 2 different options of payment plans available. So you can choose to do 6 payments of $11.11 or 12 payments of $59. So they're a little lower savings, but you get that payment spread out over time. If you have questions, you can email me. My email is there for you if you're watching the replay. And I'll also send you the links to these so that you can sign up if that's something that you decide that you want to do, if you feel called to do that.